I came here tonight with a fucking taser because you think you're protesting peacefully?
So you can call me TikTok watcher, you can call me Gen Z, you can call me arrogant. What you can't do is respond to the facts.
What facts? The fact that I was born there and you weren't? The fact that you have a second-hand knowledge?
No, the fact that
The fact that you think saving human life is treason?
Mosab Hasan Yousef, the son of a Hamas founder, absolutely destroyed a UCLA activist in a heated debate. Check it out.
Name 3 books as source of your information.
Yeah, sure. The Nation Forum by Rashida Khalidi.
By who is that? I never heard of this woman.
He was actually he was part of the peace process in the 90s.
Okay.
But you don't know about him. That's fine. I still respect your opinion. It doesn't mean that you're wrong just because you don't know a single author, okay? That's fine.
All the books that you read looks like going only in one direction, to delegitimize Israel.
Do you know who Benny Morris is?
I don't need to know. I think you're just making up stuff.
Or the making of the Israeli nation.
And I think
making of the Israeli nation. Do you know that book, or are you just uneducated?
Look,
what's the answer?
Listen. What did I tell you from the beginning of this conversation? I don't need to read books to know my.
Oh, you
land.
don't need to read books, but
I
do.
don't need. I write the books. I live the experience. I am the author.
All the credibility you gained.
I am not a second-hand knowledge.
All of the credibility that you gained by living in Palestine was taken away from you when Israel put you on their paycheck.
First of all, if you want to take personal aim, I can take you on a rabbit hole that you will never get out of it.
Sure. Go ahead.
I have been patient and respecting you. You know why? Because you're just an arrogant student with no knowledge, with no life experience, advocating on a very dangerous cause, being a useful idiot in the hands of terrorists, creating trouble, putting encampment, breaking the law, advocating on behalf of a terrorist organization designated by the American law as a terrorist organization, makes you a terrorist. So if you want to talk about personal things, you challenge me for doing a legitimate work for a democracy to save human lives, and you want to reduce my effort to say that I got paid 10 years fighting and chasing after terrorists who blow up, killed Americans, Israelis, Arabs, Muslims, all type of people indiscriminately. Do you think you can sit here and judge me? And you don't have the authority to sit there and judge, tell me I took money or I did not take money. This is not your business.
No, you did take money. That's a fact, and that's fine.
This is not your business.
You took money from Israel, and that's okay. You're a propagandist for Israel. That's just a fact, and it's the reality of the situation.
No matter what I say, he's going to say you are paid. You're on a payroll. You're advocating on behalf of the Zionists. And he will continue to be in his denial for eternity. This is a phenomenon of useful idiots that they're advocating on behalf of a dangerous organization. They're bringing chaos, intifada, to the United States of America.
This student was so arrogant, in fact, that he decided to make up numbers on the spot. But then he got caught by the moderator, and it really blew up in his face.
Now, then also the claim that the Arab leaders told Palestinians to leave because they'd be able to return later. Well, that's true, but it accounts for a couple thousand, maybe 20,000, as compared to like 700,000.
Where are you getting that fact from?
What were your numbers?
Well, no, what I'm asking you, where were you getting that fact from?
It's just general knowledge.
What? Well, I mean, it's important. It's important.
If you have a more accurate number.
I'm not. This is not my. I'm not debating here. I'm just asking questions.
Oh, sure. So, well, the number is 700,000. Do you agree with that number?
No, I do agree with that.
The number of a couple thousand, if not tens or 20,000s.
Okay, but you do agree, right? You do agree that it's really, really important when we're saying these things. Let me finish. Let me finish. Because we've been listening to you. And it's really, really important when you make these statements which are affecting people's lives in the world that we are accurate in our facts. And so I'm not criticizing you right now. I'm just asking you where your source is. I really want to know.
No, if you have a more accurate number.
Okay, thank you. It's okay.
Well, how much is it? How much is it? Because was it 700,000 that were told by the Arab population?
Mr. Yousef might be able to tell, and an academic in the audience or somebody who knows might be able to tell. But
no, because it's important to recognize that just because I don't remember a source from a research that I did 8 or 9 months ago doesn't mean that the reality isn't the case.
Okay.
But if it was 10,000, well, that's important. That means that only 690,000 Palestinians were forced out of their homes.
Well,
it doesn't make a big difference.
These are hypothetical situations, but we really want to deal with facts when we're dealing with human lives.
So you can call me TikTok watcher, you can call me Gen Z, you can call me arrogant. What you can't do is respond to the facts.
What facts?
Well,
what facts?
To be fair, we need facts, and that's what I was kind of asking you about. So,
well.
The fact that I was born there and you weren't? The fact that you have a second-hand knowledge?
No, the fact that
you think saving human life is treason?
Then things got incredibly awkward. An Israeli hostage from actually the audience decided to join the panel and debate. And in fact, this UCLA student was so uncomfortable, he wasn't even able to look at her as she described what Hamas did to her and her friends, what she encountered in Gaza. Check it out.
I guess I just would ask you the simple question of what do you want the world to know? What do you want Mr. Doyle to know?
I'm an artist. I served the army 22 years ago. I have all the signs on me. I had an Arabic necklace on me. I had the Indian Ganesh tattoo on me. I had Pharaoh on my fingers because I'm half Egyptian and half Moroccan, but I'm Jewish. Okay? And I have the letter I got on my hand. You know why? Because I believe in coexisting. Did you know that the vast majority of the hostages believes in coexisting? So I'm an artist. And on October 7th, I went to fulfill my dream. I went to make my dream come true. When October 7th happened, and that's a fact, they told me it in the inside. They didn't know about the Nova Festival music. They didn't know that we have 3,000 people in there. They planned, and they told me that. They planned to move on and kill as much as they could. In Beersheba, in Tel Aviv, in Haifa, they wanted to slaughter everybody. You know what? Maybe you will not believe me. I can present you my videos that I took there. Do you know how many bodies were there? Do you know how much violence was taken on me? I was caught in the middle of a lynch. I was presented as a soldier because I chose to wear green army look-alike uniform that day. By mistake, I was categorized as a soldier, and I was treated as a soldier. When I was entering Gaza, and I told you before, I have Arab suppliers, I have Arab neighbors and Arab friends. When I was entering Gaza, and there is a video of that, I saw 100% of civilians celebrating me being taken. All I saw is 100% of civilians lynching me, beating me up. I was with a broken leg. I had bruises all over my body. Do you know that I've never cursed them? I've never argued with them. And I've never treated them like garbage. I respected them, even when they abused me. But how can you have a discussion with none of the Hamas representatives sitting here now, and you will never sit here right now? How can you have both sides facts if only one side is volunteer to sit here at all time? Did you see any one of the Hamas comes to sit here?
After being challenged on Hamas atrocities and how terrible they are by this Israeli hostage, this student decided not to backtrack, but in fact decided to dig himself into an even deeper hole. In fact, he went the route of defending Hamas, saying that it could potentially be a viable negotiating partner for Israel. This despite the fact that Hamas is not only avowed to Israel's destruction, but also has repeatedly stated on live television that they would commit October 7th again and again.
I can't speak for the people who didn't want to speak, but what I can say is that the view of Hamas as a completely implacable force is not completely incorrect, because they see the Palestinian issue as a very religious issue, and going back on that issue is seen as going back on God. But like we saw with the PLO, over time, they become more of a political movement and less of a nationalist movement, like we'll see with Hamas. Like we've seen with the change from 1987 charter to 1917 charter, they change and they adapt and they grow over time, and it's changing from a staunchly religious movement. Obviously, it still is a very much religious movement, but the movement itself, especially with regard to Hamas, becomes more political and becomes more malleable. The idea is that in time, if we can get Israel and Hamas to both agree to a just solution, then it's ridiculous to say, well, because Hamas is implacable now, then there won't be a solution.
Mosab Hasan Yousef then confronted this student on what exactly is the Palestinian movement. What do they stand for? What is their constitution? What are they looking to accomplish besides for the destruction of the state of Israel? Is there really an actual Palestinian movement, or is it actually just an anti-Israel movement?
The problem is not only with Hamas. It looks like we have to please so many opposing forces. We try to please Hamas, then we have a problem with the Islamic Jihad. Then if we please Islamic Jihad, we have a problem with the Public Front. We please this, then we have to go to FIDA. Then we have to go to national. We have about 12 Palestinian factions, and all of them have different idea of what Palestine is and what can satisfy their political ambition. Then now we have Mr. Dillon, and we have a million like him in the United States that they became legitimate force in the conflict. So Israel will have to also bring them to the negotiating table and try to please their political ambition as well. So as you see, each one of them is basically a black hole that cannot be satisfied. And all of them have one thing in common, and that's not to build a Palestine. It's only to delegitimize Israel. That's the only thing they know how to do. Because if you ask him practically, how can he actually construct a model of Palestine if he's never been there? If he was actually a sincere person, he would take a flight and go to Gaza and feel the people and see their suffering firsthand. Or if it's too dangerous for him, I wouldn't blame him. Probably he would be very terrified to be in Gaza. It's too much. At least go to the West Bank. You can go to the city of Ramallah, live with the people for a couple of years, understand their culture. And when I say a couple of years, it's not enough. In order to know the mentality of the people, you have to spend with them a decade at least of daily experience to understand what they stand for before you start advocating on their behalf. You're just taking the side against Israel for killing Gaza children, ignoring the reality that Hamas is using them as civilians, as human shields. And I've been telling you this from day one, that you have been used by Hamas. They want you to cause chaos. They want the global chaos. They want to put pressure on the US government, on the Israeli government, and all other democracies. They want to bring the civilized world to its knees from those ugly images that we see from the war. But Israel did not initiate that war on October 7th. Hamas did. And our problem is not only with Hamas, it's with the Palestinian ideology that you just want to gift Hamas and other fanatics a Palestinian state, thinking that this is going to bring a solution. This is going to create a global chaos. These people are not looking for equal opportunity. They don't want to divide the land. If they wanted to divide the land, they would have accepted the partition back in 1948. But instead of declaring their independence, they declared war against the Jewish people. Then they remembered some 40 years later to declare their independence. This is the Palestinians, or what so-called Palestinians. They have many fundamental problems. They don't have a legitimate leadership. You know, you tell me about the camp, and like you speak on behalf of all the encampment in the United States. You run only a camp here at UCLA. There are other encampments. You are not in charge of them, and they did not even elect you as a leadership. You don't have a moral compass. You don't have an objective out of this thing. You just go in a revolution for the sake of revolution, intifada, and you don't have a resolution. Where are you getting? What's the next shore? So fundamentally, we have a problem with Palestine. Before we resolve this issue, we need the Palestinians to decide what they want. First of all, what's their constitution? What's their agenda? What's their leadership? And will they drop violence as a method? Will they accept Israel's right to exist? Then after that, we can have a dialogue and there can be a solution. But as long as they want to annihilate the state of Israel, kill their own children, sacrifice civilians only for your sympathy and the rest of the world's sympathy, then this cycle of violence will never end.
And then for the final nail in the coffin, a Jordanian Arab woman stands up from the audience and speaks out against the pro-Palestine movement on campus, intimidating and harassing pretty much everyone. In fact, she feared for her safety just to come to this event. She speaks out against this UCLA student for leading this movement and participating in it and encouraging it. The violence and hatred that is coming out of this movement is absolutely palpable. You can feel it emanating from their horrific chants, such as "From the River to the Sea," "Intifada Revolution," etc., etc.
My name is Renee, and I'm from Jordan, and I grew up there. Aiden, as a young man, I commend you for putting on a suit and coming out here tonight. I appreciate that from a professor, okay? But you also have to have enough humility to know that you don't know enough. And I'm telling you that as an Arab. So where would I rather live? Tel Aviv or Gaza? Who would I rather live amongst? Hamas, which is what you're advocating for. I also believe that it's words and your actions are incredibly dangerous. So you're not doing my people any good by these encampments. If anything, you're empowering Hamas, Hezbollah, ISIS, and the plethora that are kind of in breeding right now. So like I said, I appreciate, you putting on a suit and coming here and speaking for my people. My people don't want you speaking for them. Because you're not helping us. You're not. You can shake your head.
I have a question.
You can shake your head. You can shake your head.
I don't claim to speak for the people of Jordan. I don't know what.
Well, Palestine, same thing. Listen, don't be rude, man.
I'm asking
They're
you.
not the same thing.
Okay,
Actually,
It's not the same thing, but no, actually, here's the thing. Here's one thing you don't know.
No, they're literally not.
Hold on. Let her speak.
Before the British mandate, I could have been a Palestinian instead of a Jordanian or Egyptian. It's the same people. So don't act like you know my people better than myself or Yousef. So that's the arrogance. This is the arrogance and the problem that I have with the encampments. I came here tonight with a fucking taser because you think you're protesting peacefully? I'm going to be okay showing up here by myself because white, entitled, spoiled Americans want to get attention? That's what you're standing up for. You're making it worse for Arabs here and back home. So you're not doing any of us any help.
And that was it. Mosab Hasan Yousef, an Israeli hostage, and a Jordanian Arab woman all teaming up to destroy this UCLA student, and he probably won't do another debate like this for a very long time. For more, subscribe to the channel. If you want to help us make more of these videos, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/Jewish Uncensored. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.